Yeah, folks, the point that I was trying to get to you is let's take a closer look at the Savannah airport. You got two magenta lines, the inner magenta circle and the outer magenta circle. And outer magenta circle also is overlapping with the faded magenta. So let's talk a little more about that. Here, these figures 1 3 at least 4 1 upon 1 3 4 1 upon 1 3 and 4 1 upon surface. So I want to these two figures are definitely MSL. Generally these altitudes, when they are marked like this, they are MSL. But how about this 41 upon surface? What does that mean? Is it? I do not want you to guess whether it is MSL or AGL. Meaning, I'm going to tell something, something a little funny, so that you would remember. Think of where is the air traffic controller standing. Like if the airport is nowhere near at the sea level, of course. It is AGL that we are talking about. In other words, if you think of the feet of the air traffic controller, of course, let's ignore the fact that the tower itself could be 150 feet above ground level, but always think of it as surface means AGL at this point. And I want to talk about these on these charts, how they have used the two colors. Let's bring the charts, aeronautical charts, sectional charts, legend. Yes, folks, I'm going to read out something over here. You might not even be able to see, but it doesn't matter. It's on our website. Module 8, figure 6, legend sectional aeronautical chart, and even otherwise it's on the website under, if you look at Airman's Knowledge Testing Supplement for sport pilot, recreational pilot, and private pilot. On that also you have this sectional aeronautical chart, which you would also get as the workbook for when you sit for the unmanned aircraft general section of the examination. So we'll be talking about that. Don't get confused at the moment. But with no offense, I'm going to take you down the memory lane to your first grade teacher. How the teacher would have told children, this is the magenta color and this is the blue color. Now, why I want to bring it up that way is if you have that solidly in your mind, that itself will help you to understand these charts very well. What I was trying to read was, it says under legend, the topmost text. It's important to know because there would be most likely one question on this. It says airport markings with control towers are in blue, all others are in magenta. And also it says consult airport facility directory for details of information on airports. So why I bring that up is there is there is a name change that FAA has done. They call it digital charts now. I will show that also. See, friends, on the FAA website it says digital chart supplements D-CS. So, but there is nothing much to worry on this one because it's all. There would be also the marking within parentheses. So formally, airport facility directory. So that's about that. Why I why I brought this up on the recap is there's most likely there would be a question on this. So with the knowledge of the colors, I would like you to observe over here. The faded magenta is class E airspace, that means class Echo airspace with flow 700 feet. And right underneath you, it shows the faded blue. It says class E airport with flow 1200 feet. So while you're there, I want you also to observe another important thing. Oh, here, let me enlarge this a little bit, maybe. Yes, over here, it shows IR211. It could be VR211 also. They are military training routes, so it's important to remember. And also, I would say not to get confused with this. You see over here, let's see now. Over here, you say, oh, they call it, let's say, they call it V lines. Yes, they call it V lines, V69. V lines is something else. It's going from one navigation aid to another, how the pilots plan their route. Navigation aid in terms of VOR or directional or DME or whatever, and that's different from VR. VR stands for military visual military routes. Yes, so coming back to Savannah Airport chart, this magenta, faded magenta, I would like to bring up my famous or notorious coffee cup again. Look at that coffee cup. So up to here, we can assume from 4,100 feet elevation, 1,300 feet elevation, and as you know, outside the magenta, you have Echo airspace. So Echo stands for E stands for everywhere, as we know now. So it'll go underneath to this depression portion, and down goes is up to down to 700 feet AGL. So it goes down up to there because it's magenta. But if it was faded blue, it would have ended up at 1200 feet AGL. So now, after saying that, I'm also would bring up the airspace classification one more time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you see over here, it shows the 700 feet line, and if it is if it stops little before going that far down, that means 1,200 feet. So you distinctly see these two levels. One is if it is high up from AGL, it's 1,200 feet. But if it goes down, it goes down to 700 feet. And then if you talk about surface, of course, like this one, the class E airspace will go down totally. And on not to make you confused, Savannah Airport, it goes the inner circle goes down straight to a surface level. Right. This is the surface level. So if we do a brief run through, Remote Pilot Small Unmanned Aircraft System Study Guide is the main manual that you would be, the main document that you will be dealing with, but it's supported by these other documents, that is Aeronautical Information Manual. Okay, the other one is Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, and then you got the Aeronautical Information Services Aeronautical Chart Users Guide, and of course we are going to pay special attention to this one because that's the workbook that you would get. Airman's Knowledge Testing Supplement for Sport Pilot, Recreational Pilot and Private Pilot. And then when you go down on the cover of that document or workbook, you will get do not mark in this book. Once you get that, once you see that, you know that is the handbook you would get when you walk into the examination center approved by FAA to sit for the UAG, that means Unmanned Aircraft General portion of Part 107. I think on the main part of the module I explained, 107 you can complete, but you unless you are already a pilot, you have a rating, you cannot get the pilot license or apply for the pilot license until you go into a test examination center and do the UAG, Unmanned Aircraft General part of the course. So in other words, we are talking about 6 months solid work if you do full-time study this. If you are not into air traffic control or aviation or any engineering related work or technical related work, it would take you solid 6 months. Even if you don't do anything at all, you devote yourself 100% for this. But if you are into stuff like I explained before, maybe you can cut down to half of the time. But if you are doing it along with other as part-time along with your other work, it might take longer. But the good thing is, on the U-Drone Anywhere course, we made it in such a way, even if you want to listen just to the audio whenever you have time, and all the diagrams are laid out on our website. You can then, when you get a chance, you can go into the computer, you can go into your smartphone and check all those diagrams and save a lot of time in that manner. So let's do a brief run through on the game plan that U-Drone Anywhere put together for you. Yes, sir. Now completely study Remote Pilot Small Unmanned Aircraft System Study Guide, as we talked about, and make the Legend Sectional Aeronautical Chart the wallpaper on your laptop or PC, so that you get with the symbols, it would be like second nature, you know what they are and sort of thing. And then go through the Part 107 test procedure on the website twice, without taking the test on the website. You do it twice. Only on your second time around you do the test, and then this should be done just preferably a few days before you go into to sit for the UAG, Unmanned Aircraft General test on the approved test examination center. And then before you go there, you should also do the PLT codes that we have put together for you, like 50 codes. In fact, for a general pilot, it's about over 600 codes. So we eliminated all that does not apply for a remote pilot and made it much easier for you. And complete all sample questions given by U-Drone Anywhere, and you should be in very good shape. I will also would like you to make a note of this before you fly icon. When you click on that, it will bring up, you can install these apps on your smartphone, at least one app relating to whether you have iPhone or Android. It's compatible with both, of course. And then at the present time, it will give you information like the airports within 5 miles radius and the latitude and longitude of where you are, and all those information. But I think my understanding is FAA wants to make it the for at least small exemptions are on a minor nature that you should be able to do it on the app itself, but that's not there. But I would suggest for you to install that and get familiar with that. And let's bring up one other thing I want you to remember. It's important as on the META and TAF weather reports on the clouds levels. Now here SCT, scattered clouds, but 007 means 700. In other words, first digit represents hundreds, second digit thousands, and the third digit is 10,000s. Like over here, it's hundreds are 0, and this is 5,000 and 20,000. It's so scattered clouds over here on 25,000. So that's another thing that we should not get confused. One other thing on the sectional aeronautical chart, I want to present this to you so that there's no mix-up, or because if you see this, even if you don't see it, I'm referring to what I am referring to. Class C airspace is thick magenta, but at the same time, within parentheses, you say mode C and C FAR 91.215. FAR, as you know, is Federal Aviation Regulations, and AIM is Aeronautical Information Manual. Even for mode C, you got the same marking. Here also it shows mode C for FAR 91.215 AIM. What's the need not to get confused over here is mode C not directly relating to airspace classification, as we learned. It's dealing with the aircraft equipment of what you that you are compulsory, that it's compulsory for you for the aircrafts to have like transponders. So and then I will show another thing along with that, and it should be kept separate with the Class C airspace classification. I should say it should be kept separate from Class C airspace classification. See over here, I don't know you see it when my pointing it, it's marked mode C. Okay, let me move this out. Yes, marked mode C. 30 nautical miles mode C. In other words, it's not really classifying the airspace in terms of the airspace classification, but the equipment requirement, mandatory equipment requirement to enter this area, 30 nautical miles. So because it's marked, if it is although it is the magenta line, because it's marked mode C, there is less chances for confusion. So in fact, if you look at the airspace classification on this one, the mode C, you have to think of it like a whale that is coming from the top right down on 30 nautical miles diameter. It's coming right down like a whale, in the sense the whale that brights were, not the whale in the ocean. I think VEIL is the correct spelling. Yeah, folks, pretty much done. Module 8, drones technology, drones fun to fly and fantastic to make money. Would you believe we finished this module 8? It was dragging so much. I'm sorry about it, but we want to make sure that you pass the examination. Now is the thanking part. I brought my rudimentary teleprompter, because I do not want to forget anybody. Firstly, I should thank Mr. Sarit Vemuni, a genius in all accounts, and he gave me the lab to work on. Very nice of him. And another nephew, Tilanka Munisinghe, another engineer who has been helping me out. And of course, my mentor, N.V. Vikramasinghe, whose scientific forecasts are, believe me, pinpoint. And my accountant, Mr. Vincent Cavallo, very experienced accountant, and will be very helpful if anybody needs. We have his number on our website, and also our sponsors and affiliates. That is Seagate. I would like to thank the president, Mr. Sunil Herath, and his wonderful team. Very reasonably priced and very responsible people to work with. And then how can I end it up without thanking my wife? Of course, many times when my projects go belly up, she rescues me. But I cannot sing. I better say this. It's been you, woman, right down the line. But believe me, this one, I'm hitting the bullseye, is from me. And thank you. And last but not least, all the students who took the course, profoundly thank you. And I see you on module 9, jobs, and jobs. Thanks again.